Article 1. Unsubstantiated is a word that should mean something. Category: Report analysis. Originally published July 8, 2025. Source: YourNews, reproduced here with original context preserved. In 2024, Richmond's General Registrar Keith Balmer was accused of misusing city funds for travel to a Washington, D.C. election event. Although FOIA records were suppressed by the Deputy Inspector General, evidence maintained by Balmer's executive assistant later proved the trip was legitimate and did not occur in the manner described by the Inspector General. This piece exposes how contradictory evidence was ignored, timelines misrepresented, and how the word substantiated was used to support an unsubstantiated claim. Part 1 of the evidence: the suppression, the fear to print. In February 2024, General Registrar Keith Balmer attended an election-focused event in Washington, D.C. Months later, in November, the former Inspector General issued a public report accusing him of misusing city funds, claiming he traveled under false pretenses and had no determined business purpose. The General Registrar was not a registered attendee at either conference. This travel had no determined business purpose. Here's the evidence the report ignored. Mr. Balmer was invited to a national convening hosted by the Election Trust Initiative. He confirmed his attendance in advance and was on the guest list. The event took place on the exact date in question, in Washington, D.C., exactly where the P-card charges occurred. I've included the invitation and confirmation. After the report was released, I submitted a FOIA request specifically challenging the narrative in Item 19 and requesting related records. I pointed out the contradictory evidence and both City Council and the City Attorney's Office were made aware. Blanket denial. The Office of the Inspector General refused to release anything, citing an active investigation, even though the report had already been published and distributed publicly. The very documents that could have confirmed the truth weren't just kept from the public. They were blocked internally, even when senior leadership was aware. When someone builds a false timeline around a public servant's career, that's not oversight, it's sabotage. This is just one example of what the Osuna report got wrong. I'm proud to have earned my degree in criminal justice with a minor in homeland security and emergency preparedness, and I've come to recognize that my neurodivergence is an asset, especially in investigations, pattern recognition, and calling out systemic inconsistencies. Hold your officials accountable. More to follow. My FOIA request. Sent Friday, December 13, 2024, 12:43 p.m. 2. Johnson, Craig SOIG. Subject: FOIA Request 12.13.24-19. 12.13.24. Good afternoon. The following request falls under the Intergovernmental Waiver of Costs as this FOIA request is not being made by or in the capacity of a private citizen. This is for independent fact-checking purposes of alleged staff activity. In Item 19 of the report against the Office of Elections, a fantastic story and timeline was created. Please provide information as to whether this office fully investigated this matter, as evidence clearly shows that Mr. Balmer was attending a different election-related conference. Sincerely, Brian Prince, HSO, OOE Technology and Security Department. Response to FOIA request. From Johnson, Craig SOIG. 2. Prince, Brian L. Elections. CC. Osuna, James, OIG. Dickinson, John K. City Attorney. Marks, Wirt P. City Attorney. Subject: Re. FOIA Request 12.13.24-19. Mr. Prince, I am writing to formally respond to the FOIA request that you sent to this office on December 13, 2024. You requested documents regarding the following request falls under the Intergovernmental Waiver of Costs as this FOIA request is not being made by or in the capacity of a private citizen. This is for independent fact-checking purposes of alleged staff activity. In Item 19 of the report against the Office of Elections, a fantastic story and timeline was created. Please provide information as to whether this office fully investigated this matter, as evidence clearly shows that Mr. Balmer was attending a different election-related conference. All responsive documents to this request are exempt from disclosure under the following provision of the FOIA statute as follows. They also are exempt under 2.2 to 3705.1, as work product compiled specifically for use in an active administrative investigation concerning a matter that is properly the subject of a closed meeting under Section 2.2-3711. For this purpose, the applicable section of 2.2-3711 is subsection 1, which also relates to personnel matters and investigations thereof. Finally, the information is also exempt from disclosure pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2 to 3705.3(7), which exempts investigative notes and correspondence and information furnished in confidence that were provided to or produced by or for the IG. This closes your FOIA request. Craig Johnson, CFE, SIG, SIGI, Deputy Inspector General, Office of the Inspector General, 900 East Broad Street, Suite 1500, Richmond, Virginia, 23219.